What do you get when you cross a know-it-all newspaper columnist with an awkward, unsophisticated everyman?
Yeah. Well, I'm just not sure about that right now.
Welcome to Couch and the Rube.
Welcome to Couch and the Rube, presented by Skymint, premium cannabis, inspiring people to do better, love better, live better, look better, just be better every damn day of their lives. And our Sunday night show, presented by our friends Mark and Jay at North Coast Wealth Management. If you have questions about investing for anything, retirement, Social Security benefits, making your money work for you in the market, give Mark and Jay a call, 248-626-2000. That's 248-626-2000. Or email them at info@northcoastwm.com and let them know Graham and Jason at Couch and the Rube sent you for a free consultation to see if they are a fit for you. That's Mark and Jay at North Coast Wealth Management. Jason, how you doing, man?
I am never going to financially recover from this.
Hey, what's up, buddy? I heard you left a banana in your bag the other day for the game.
I did. It's not great.
You noticed that you would never leave a donut.
Would have remembered that.
You would have remembered a donut, right?
I don't even.
You should just wrap it in a donut.
I don't even remember which day I was on such a health kick that I actually put a banana in the work bag. Like, I didn't do the Minnesota road trip, so it would have been there at least a week.
Yeah.
I don't usually take food to basketball games, so we're talking the Penn State football game.
Wow.
Yeah, not great. And it was a little mushy, just a nice little mushy foam all around the bottom.
Solari rip it out of your hand and take a bite out of it?
No,
peel and all.
There was really no banana. The banana was barely left. It was just mush. My computer was like covered in mush at the bottom. It was disgusting.
Gross.
Yeah, it's not great. I put my computer right into the mush of the old banana, which is outstanding.
I mean, Zion was a big deal because he was a huge guy, and I just broke my chair.
So yeah, that wasn't great, but I recovered.
You did.
You
got the 3 quick takes in. You were there till 3 a.m. though.
That's all that that's all that matters. I licked the banana, the stale banana or the old banana off the keyboard, and we were good to go.
My hot takes, I got to say, I only had one coming like on the way in. It takes a half hour to drive in here. I'm like, what are my hot takes? So I don't know if you want to go first because mine might be above Carmen Electra's hot.
Well, then I think yours are more fun that way.
Yeah.
You don't see it that way.
It'll be fun for someone.
Okay.
I don't know if it'll be fun for me.
Well, let's just begin with your first hot take then.
I think Imani Bates regrets picking Memphis over Michigan State.
That's
Saturday.
hot.
That's. I'm just saying. I don't know if Imani Bates with 9 points again on Saturday night at Memphis was it Friday night? I don't remember, but they lost again. And watching Imani Bates and his body language, he just seems like he doesn't want to be there. And I don't know if that'll change the effect of the Anthony Hardaways getting some of these 5-star guys. You have to remember though, you want to turn into a 10-year pro, and Tom Izzo can turn you into a 10-year pro. Will you have a lot of fun and score a lot of points at Michigan State? No. Will you win? Be seen by a lot of people? I think that will resonate. Well, people will watch Imani Bates and go, maybe I should go to a Hall of Fame coach, right?
Yeah, I mean, Larry Brown is there, who's in the Hall of Fame, who is on that staff. So it's not like it's necessarily a bad staff. I think Anthony Hardaway.
Larry Brown's all over the place. I mean, yeah, he's
true.
A legend too, but he always moves around, and players don't really like him. So it's a weird fit, but
yeah, I just think it has more to do with Imani Bates and his maturity level. And I don't know the kid personally, but it's pretty clear when you read what we read and just sort of how he's bounced around.
But it's tough to blame a kid that's been touted as this next great thing and has an academy his dad owns. I understand that. That would be something that would be overwhelming for a young guy like that. But I just think a lot of these guys should look at that and go, they want to make it to the next step, and that's the NBA. They want to be a 10 to 12-year veteran, right? Well, I think Izzo takes you there faster than the Anthony Hardaways and the one-and-done things, and like maybe the Juwan Howards too.
Here's where it gets interesting. He's not eligible to go to the NBA this year because he's too young, and he reclassified, so he has to do another year somewhere. He can do it in the G League Ignite. He can do it overseas, or he could go to some other university. I'm not suggesting he's going to wind up joining this Michigan State team, although that would be a story. But
wait, what? Now that's a hot take.
Yeah. I'm just saying he doesn't.
Are you saying there's still a chance?
Why wouldn't there be?
What?
No, I don't think there's a chance. I would be stunned if he wound up at Michigan State. I don't mean to mislead people. Yes, I would be absolutely stunned if he wound up at Michigan State. So I don't want to mislead, because right now people are going, trying to think about this year's team, adding that next year.
You're saying there's a chance.
Yeah, no, it's very
1%'s better than 0%.
It's very much the Dumb and Dumber line. So you're saying there's a chance. It's there. But you never know. No,
honestly, how do you come back? How you think Imani comes to practice all excited after losing another game at Memphis?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, they got a lot of. This is the problem when your team is young, and unless you also have veteran leaders and a good mix, it's very hard to win and have success and enjoy the season. There are very few very young teams. We've seen it occasionally. There have been teams that are very young that are special. I mean, the Fab Five, people have tried to duplicate for years and years and years. They had leadership. They had something to them, and they were
Jalen Rose that had the swagger.
They were tough. They were
Weber
tough
was a
mofos.
badass.
Yeah, and then and Juwan Howard was a mature dude. And then you see the Kentucky team that they've had where a guy like Anthony Davis didn't care about scoring. He was just a defensive stopper in the championship game, right? I mean, so there are very few teams that have done it, and most of the time these sort of things wind up being misery, and that's why that'll bring me to my first hot take, because I think Michigan State does have a great mix right now of new guys and new roles, but everything feels fresh, right? Like, I mean, for Marcus Bingham and Gabe Brown, they may be seniors, but this is the first time they've gotten to be headliners. This is fun. This is fresh. This is different. Tyson Walker, new school, figuring it all out and starting to figure it out at a pretty high level. Obviously, the freshman figuring it out at a new place.
Joey Hauser hitting a shot or two
in
between turnovers.
Hauser may be sometimes the exception, but Malik Call in a little bit of a new role, captain, front man here and there. I just think that they've got a really nice mix, and that's what you want to try to build to win at the college game. And so that said, I think there are a few college basketball teams still with higher ceilings than Michigan State this year. Baylor, for one, who Michigan State played. Gonzaga, right? Purdue, when the Boilermakers figure their shit out, whatever they're doing right now. I don't know what that is. There are probably a few others. But this MSU team, I think, has a chance to do something this year. I still think this is a 2-year group, mostly. I don't know what Bingham and Gabe Brown, if they'll be around next year. But ultimately, I think this is still a 2-year group with a lot of these guys, and that their higher ceiling may be a year from now. But there's some stuff that's working right now. And I think, before the season, I wrote that 3 guys could make MSU a lot more than people were projecting them. And Gabe Brown was a given. Like, Gabe Brown had to be good. He had to take the next step. He had to sort of fill in for Aaron Henry. I didn't make him one of those guys. If that didn't happen, MSU was going to struggle. And he has been that. He has shown he is fearless. Even if he's still a little flawed, he is fearless. He'll shoot. He'll lead. He's not scared of the moment. He'll attack the rim. Gabe Brown is everything they need him to be this year. And everything. He's the best version we've seen of Gabe Brown, whatever that is. But the 3 were Marcus Bingham, Tyson Walker, and Max Christie. That's what gave MSU a chance, because there was a chance that Marcus Bingham was what Izzo was saying, that he had really finally taken this step. There was this chance that Tyson Walker was going to elevate them at the point guard position and really make it all work. And I think A.J. Hogarth's been a lot better than people expected too. And then you get a 5-star freshman like Max Christie, and obviously Jay Nakins has been better than expected. And so, but 2 of those 3 things are happening. And I still think Christie will as well. And we've seen it, right? We saw it against Butler, and we've seen just the versatility to his game and the willing. I mean, I think eventually he's going to hit shots and things will be fine. And defensively, he's been really good. But the Marcus Bingham Jr. situation is better than I expected. I didn't think it was ever going to happen for him. He's been terrific. He's been a force. He's been a force sometimes. He's been a presence always. And again, he plays against a guy like John Harhar from Penn State, who was in the transfer portal, whose people called Michigan State, and to see where that interest level was. And Michigan State thought it might need a big man. It didn't really go anywhere, but that was a guy who was better than Marcus Bingham a year ago, and he isn't better than Marcus Bingham anymore. You'd rather have Marcus Bingham. Harhar's still a great rebounder, but you'd rather have Marcus Bingham, better rim protector, does more important things that affect the game well than Har does, especially in terms of defensive presence. Tyson Walker, what he is all of a sudden turning out to be, I think is, it was taking a minute, and this is why I want to see them now again against a Baylor type, because Tyson Walker in the last 2 weeks has made some pretty big steps in terms of figuring out the balance between when to be an offensive, aggressive shooter and when to get people involved. And you just see what it does to the whole team when he's going coast to coast on these fast breaks by himself that are, made baskets. And so this is close to the best case scenario. And now they've got this defensive identity they've all bought into. Here's the thing. We're not really going to know, though, how good they can be for a while. Maybe at Michigan, January 8th, Michigan's looked like shit against Minnesota, but still tough environment on the road, team that by then might figure it out, even if their point guard play is not great. But if Michigan State, if this is all as good as it looks right now, then that'll show up on the road. And then really I think January 25th at Illinois is the day that, again, you get a look on the road, tough environment, like sort of what the ceiling of this team is. How special can they be? If they were to win both those games, I'm not betting against them on in a given day against anybody. Now, I'm not saying I would pick them 5 out of 10 times against Baylor, Gonzaga.
Here comes the matchup proof.
No, they are not. I won't say it. I won't, because they're just not. They don't have.
Yes, you're right.
There are teams that have higher end dudes than they have, but they've got a hell of a collection. It all seems to be working, and everything that needed to happen has happened. And again, they played Minnesota. Minnesota's not horrible. They played Penn State. Penn State's, I mean, they've got enough dudes. They're going to upset some people on their home court throughout the year. But they've looked. There's some things that are happening with this team that make you think that maybe this could be a really interesting winter. Any thoughts?
Oh, I was just thinking about Foster Loyer scoring 30 points again for Davidson. I just don't understand why it didn't work here. High shooting. I understand it's the Atlantic 10, but
sometimes
I see those randomly where he has a 30-point game. I'm happy for him, but I just don't understand how one guy can come to Michigan State and act like sometimes, or play like sometimes he's never played basketball before, and we know the kid can light it up, and it doesn't work here, but it works at Davidson. So what is it?
So it's a couple things. For some guys, you need a fresh start. You've lost confidence. You've lost, it just and what they needed him to do, and I'm not sure exactly how he's being asked to do at Davidson. Is he being asked to be the point guard? Or is he off the ball? They were asking him last year to be the point guard. And, he just lost confidence. He was the most prolific high school shooter I've ever seen.
That's what I just don't understand.
Yeah, and some of these guys, and this is the danger, and look, it's very early of Max Christie. We've already seen him have big games. But this is the thing you always want to be careful a little bit with shooters, is they can lose it and it can take a while for some guys to come back. Like, look at Russell Byrd, prolific high school shooter, came back from injury too early, never found it at Michigan State, went and played a lower level, had a great year, had a good pro career as a good shooter. Just at Michigan State, he lost his confidence. And I think Foster Loyer had lost his confidence. A little different level, but also had lost his confidence. And that's a big thing you want to be careful. Now, when you talk to Max Christie, that's the other thing I don't think, and I forget this sometimes. Max Christie is the most confident-sounding dude in the world. And if he ever loses that confidence, we'll know it. But if you talk to him tomorrow, you think, yeah, this guy's going to fuck up LeBron. Like, he just thinks he can, like he has confidence in himself. Doesn't come across arrogant, but he's not worried about shit. Like, he has full faith in his ability. So I'm not really worried about it.
Well, you kind of have to be that mentally if you want to be one of the top players in the college game, right?
Yeah.
Have that mentality.
And I think eventually he will be. I think the best thing that's happening for MSU with him right now is he's not, although if you look at some mock drafts, but he's not looking like a one-and-done dude. And that's actually probably a pretty good thing for their.
A lot of basketball left though, and March.
Yep, and that can
Things
happen.
Can change.
Right? You have a big March, all of a sudden you're on draft boards. Hey, if he has a big March with this MSU team, you deal with that then.
Yep.
That's a good problem to have. What is your second hot take?
Oh yeah, the whole Heisman Trophy show and the voting needs a facelift. It's a complete ass. It's stuffy. It's boring. I mean, I think the right player won it, but. All of you guys showing your votes and all that stuff, and Kenneth Walker finishing second. And I'm not saying sixth, excuse me, not second. That's the way it should have happened. But I'm just saying it's just a whole stuffy process. Now we fix the picket slide in a week. I think we could fix this whole Heisman voting thing in a week and a half.
The whole presentation sucks. It's just
awful.
It's awful
just
show.
boring.
And Desmond Howard was
right. But
brutal.
Kirk Herbstreit can't tell me who he thinks is going to win the game on the pregame show because he's calling a game. But Desmond Howard's all over there talking shit. So.
Yeah. No, I'm with you.
It's just so bad. It's so boring. You know what I mean? It's like move it along.
Well,
Shit.
the other thing is the voting. The voting was ridiculous, and it's not that they weren't 6 deserving guys, and it's not that. I mean, this was an interesting year because there were I think you can make an argument for a lot of these dudes. I just think if you watched enough Kenneth Walker and what he did and when he elevated guys, he should certainly be ahead of C.J. Stroud. I mean, that's just without question.
He should have been there.
Look, if you are somebody who really understands the sport at a very high nuanced level, and you watch enough of the 2 defensive guys who are among the top 6, and you can tell me those guys were better than any of the offensive guys, I'm okay with that. I'm okay if you can make that argument, but you cannot make the argument that C.J. Stroud had a greater impact on the college football season, on a team, on a program, and was a better player for the duration of the year than Kenneth Walker. You just can't do it. You can't do it with a straight face. And so the fact that he was clearly ahead of Walker, that right there is
But that's not how people are voting. People aren't
No.
looking at their vote as if wow, if they didn't have Kenneth Walker, this is a 4-win team. Right? Aiden Hutchinson, you take him off that team, I think they still win 9-10 games.
They look at yards. Most people just didn't see enough Kenneth Walker. And that's why the vote should be done differently than it is, because it takes some of the it just takes something away from the Heisman Trophy. I mean, you can win the Heisman Trophy. Good whoop-de-fucking
It used to be the biggest award.
Yeah,
when we
it
were
should
kids.
not. It should not be considered that.
Appointment viewing, and now it's just kind of
But we see this all the time. We see this in journalism. We see this in media.
Yeah,
we see these. Some of the stuff that wins. I mean, and I'll just. I mean, there's some stuff that's ridiculous out there, but beyond that, I'll go with my own stuff. I have written things that have won pretty big awards that were a lot less quality than things that didn't get honorable mention or third place.
Did you get a plaque?
No, I mean, sometimes, but what I mean is,
plaques.
what I mean is, it's all in the eye of the. All this stuff's flawed the way it's judged.
It's the way things are voted,
and so
who
right? You can't you can't be too excited about winning something because you have to know that it's only partly earned. The way most of this stuff. Even the fucking Peabody that ESPN won, right? For conflating the Nasser story with all the other stuff. It just, the Peabody Award didn't even count anymore. I mean, so, all right. My second hot take. If Georgia murders Michigan in the semifinal.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
While the bloodthirsty MSU fan will feel good, there's going to be a different thing that's going to irk people a little bit. That's going to be a little annoying. Because the SEC snobbery over the Big Ten is going to hit an all-time high. Because Michigan is the best the Big Ten has to offer. We are presenting Michigan is our offering is a Big Ten region. This is what we have. This is the best of our football. And if they get just walloped, it's going to be annoying at a whole different level. Now, I do believe most Michigan State fans will sign up for that annoyance and say, we'll deal with it. We will deal with that.
If they hold them scoreless.
But I think
3 points.
Most of the Big Ten, almost everywhere else, certainly at Michigan, maybe not Ohio State, but they can take care of their own business because they're Ohio State most years. But I would guess the large majority of the Big Ten, even those that don't necessarily like Michigan, will be rooting for Michigan because it will be. I mean, you think people are insufferable on ESPN and other places now. Just if Georgia were to beat Michigan 35-7, the SEC shit would just be unbearable. It would just become.
It's already unbearable though.
Right.
I think it'll just keep going.
I'm not saying Michigan State fans wouldn't sign up for that and give their firstborn child away to make sure Michigan doesn't do well in this game. I'm just saying there's going to be a whole other thing. Just be aware that's coming. All right, what is your third hot take?
We got to get rid of Lotto out of gas stations. I've had enough of these fucking lottery people that bring an envelope full of fucking slips and things that you have to scan. We need to open up a Michigan lottery store and open these things up around town so we could. I just want to pay for a goddamn pack of gum and get some gasoline, and I got to sit behind Brenda, who's fucking got a whole folder full of her gambling slips and her 4 numbers. You know what you need, lady? 1-800-GAMBLER. Because seriously, that can't be fun watching 3 numbers all day. I just don't get it. I mean, at least Keno's fun. But really, you're going to pick 3 numbers off the top of your fucking head or something random that you saw on the TV that someone spoke to you? They told me to play 319. I always play 319. Well, fucking go to the lotto store. Take your goddamn sweet time because they got 3 lines available. I just want to get some gas.
If you get behind Brenda at the gas station.
Dude, she took at least 20 minutes, I swear.
Next time, make sure you stop by Skymint first.
Fuck, I needed Skymint. So
Skymint.
That's when I need to just hammer a gummy.
Skymint can save you from edible, or Skymint edible can save you from Brenda. It can save you from a gambling loss, or at least feeling the effects of it. It can save you from in-laws, outlaws, whatever you need. Right? I'm telling you, Skymint is there for you, and they've got some great holiday deals. Bundle up with Skymint. Get 4, buy 4, get 2 free. Skymint 8s. Buy 4, get 2 free. North 0.5G and 1G vapes. Buy 4, get 2 free. Jolly and Shorts, Jolly gummies. Just fantastic stuff. It's Skymint. And anytime you're at a Skymint location, and there are tons throughout Michigan, and there are 3 in the greater Lansing area, for example, use the Couch and the Rube promo code, Couch and Rube 20 for 20% off. And, Skymint can help you get through the holidays or help you deal with Brenda. Go to skymint.com. You can sign up for their specials, too. They'll just pop in your email address. You'll know exactly when the best deals are available.
And she's like 80 years old, so what, you hit a $1.5 million lottery thing, then what? You're going to keep playing? Your house, your condo gets nicer? You move to Florida, Brenda? Just had enough. Lotto people.
All right, my third hot take.
The Packers are ass?
No.
Sorry.
I'm willing to give Dan Campbell some time because the team sucks and the players seem to like playing for him, and I think that's important right now. Right?
Unbelievable.
But he coaches like a guy who's chasing a losing bet. And that's
if you're a gambler, you like him.
Well, yes.
He goes for it on 4th downs. He calls timeouts down 30 points or whatever.
He's a little unpredictable for the live line for me. But the I don't, I'll say this. When you're down 2 scores against Teddy Bridgewater, there is no need to go for it on 4th down from your own 30-yard line. Because Teddy Bridgewater is not going to just annihilate you if you play the field position game and you were moving the ball fine. I am cool with it when you are 1-10-1, right? But this should not be the habit of the coach of a winning team. So I need him to understand that you're only doing that because there's nothing to lose and you're 1-10-1. I don't know that he understands that, and that makes me a little nervous because when I watch Dan Campbell, it reminds me of watching a Tigers game, having the under, realizing the under's not going to hit, so taking the live under as it keeps going up and continuing to lose. I see Dan Campbell and myself on like July 15th betting that 17-14 Twins-Tigers game that I bet the under like 6 times and lost every time. That's Dan Campbell. It's like, we're already down here. Let's just go for it all right here. And you know what? There's just very little discipline in Dan Campbell. And you know what? You
could tell by his players, 10 of them that had to miss the game due to either flu or COVID. I don't know what they were claiming, but have many other teams had that many guys miss?
Shit's bad now, and like they're like Premier League. There's one Premier League game canceled. There's Manchester United may have a Tuesday game canceled. The stuff we may have a rough winter. I don't want to put that on Dan Campbell, but But what else do you need to see? Do you trust Dan Campbell to win a big game? Do you think if he coached across the other sideline was Andy Reid, do you think he's going to outcoach Andy Reid? Here's what I'm okay with Dan Campbell.
Tight ends coach. That's what he should be.
I think there's some decent coaches on that staff. And I also think that this year and next year are going to be ass. They're going to be tough. And you're not going to have the quarterback you want, and you're going to be losing a lot of games. And you need a guy that people want to play for, and people seem to like to play for him. I think he is a good coach for right now. And if between now and the end of next year, if he becomes a coach that looks like a good coach, good head coach, that's all the better. If not, time
guys
to win.
Love playing for him because they can come back at 3 a.m. and not get in trouble or be late for meetings probably.
I don't know if that's it. But what I mean is by the end of next year, if you don't think he's a good coach and it's time to win then you go get somebody else. And I'm 100%
yeah,
cool
but
with
Sheila
that.
Ford Hamp, she's in love with the guy. She's not going to fire the guy. I mean, what would it take for her to fire Dan Campbell next season? I mean, this guy's here for 3 to 4 years at least.
Yeah, he's probably around
garbage.
Probably around for
Great guy, tight ends coach, whatever you want to throw him. So, assistant coach, not a head coach.
Ryan Schultz response from my previous take about the SEC snobbery if Michigan were to get annihilated by Georgia. Don't give a fuck, Graham. Go Dogs. I think he represents most
Everyone.
of the Michigan State fans out there. We are going to dig into your hot take, some really fantastic stuff today. Right after this, we'll be back. Couch in the Rube, presented by Skymint Premium Cannabis and Mark and Jay at North Coast Wealth Management.
Where else can you cheer on your team, enjoy a mouth-watering burger or savory sushi, sip on handcrafted cocktails, or one of 46 beers on tap? Take your game day or date night to Cask & Company Kitchen Bar or Front 43 Neighborhood Pub near Frandor. 2 amazing places with 1 awesome blended modern American Asian menu. Catch the game on one of 30 60-inch TVs or stop in for the all-you-can-eat lunch buffet. Enjoy happy hour or elevate your night out at Cask & Company or Front 43 on East Saginaw in Lansing. Firekeepers Online Casino and Sportsbook is the site to play. Get your Vegas on right now from your phone, tablet, or laptop. All the hottest slots and tables, plus sports betting featuring in-game wagering. Download the app at firekeeperscasino.com. Go with the name you know. Firekeepers. Terms and conditions apply. Must be 21 or older and located in Michigan. Gambling problem? Call the Michigan Problem Gambling Helpline at 1-800-270-7117. Wherever you are on your cannabis journey, let Skymint Premium Cannabis be your guide, your friend, and your place. Whether you're curious about cannabis or a seasoned connoisseur, Skymint's knowledgeable staff will help you with a vast selection of products to choose from to fit your needs. Skymint believes access to the best cannabis helps people do good and feel good, so they grow it right here in Michigan, giving you high-quality, locally grown cannabis at highly accessible prices. Visit skymint.com for special offers and location information throughout Michigan, and use the promo code CouchAndRube20 for 20% off your first visit. Skymint Cannabis. You'll love this place. Come enjoy irresistible, award-winning, handcrafted donuts and locally roasted coffee at Groovy Donuts. Surprise your family or coworkers with special holiday designs and flavors, or put the perfect finishing touch on an event with a custom order. Birthdays, weddings, gender reveals, our friends at Groovy Donuts are your answer. Experience the Groovy Donuts difference for yourself on Lake Lansing Road in East Lansing or in Williamston. Get more information or place an order at groovydonuts.com. Trust matters, especially when it's your money. Mark and Jay at North Coast Wealth Management work hard to build a relationship of trust by providing thoughtful, objective guidance and placing your interests first. Invest with knowledgeable financial advisors who are on your side. Call today and tell them you're a friend of the show for a no-cost, no-obligation consultation. 248-626-2000 and ask for Mark or Jay. Securities and advisory services offered through LPL Financial, a registered investment advisor, member FINRA SIPC.
Find Couch in the Rube podcasts on Spreaker, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spotify, YouTube, Facebook, Google Podcasts, CastBox, and the Rube's favorite podcast addict.
Couch in the Rube, presented by Skymint Premium Cannabis, inspiring people to be the best versions of themselves every damn day, every day. And our friends Mark and Jay at North Coast Wealth Management. If you have investment questions, Mark and Jay want to help. These guys are strategic wealth managers, and they are fiduciaries for their clients. That means the client's interest comes first. Your interest comes first. They're not going to try and get you into some hot product or investment trend. Instead, they're going to assess your specific situation and help you invest wisely based on your goals and needs. Doesn't matter where you live. Mark and Jay are in Michigan, in southeast Michigan, but they have clients all over the country. Distance doesn't scare them. You can find them online at northcoastwm.com and give them a call, 248-626-2000. That's 248-626-2000, or shoot them an email, info@northcoastwm.com. Jason?
Yes, sir.
You ready for these hot takes?
Of course I am. Eric Schultz up first. Number 1, to hell with next year. The time is now for MSU basketball. 2, Aiden Hutchinson is at best the third best defensive end in the Big Ten over the past 6 years. He finished second in this year's Heisman voting because of who he plays for, not for who he is. And 3, if we're going to do an office secret Santa, there's got to be a spending limit, and it needs to be clear what the amount is.
I can tell this has just happened to Eric. Now, Secret Santas are tricky.
Why? You should have a $25 limit.
Yeah.
And that's it. You cap it. You get someone a puzzle.
There's so much pressure with Secret Santas because
No, there's not.
Yeah,
if you cap it at 25, how can you can't really fuck that up.
Because
just get a card, a coffee place card, gift card.
That's kind of lame. Now,
why? I would enjoy one if I like coffee.
I would advise, like I'm doing a Secret Santa with a friend group, and the person who I got, I was very happy to get because for me, under our spending limit, a little bit of Skyman, some edibles are going to be what they're getting, and she's going to absolutely love it.
Midtown Brewing gift card?
That may happen as well. Put a little package together, Midtown and Skyman,
Couch in the Rube.
Yeah, and and absolutely. Maybe I'll take her to Midtown and then give her the Skyman.
It's Secret Santa, so she doesn't know that you gave it, but she's going to see 3 of our sponsors. I'm sure she's a diehard listener.
Well, she's not, but when she sees the Skyman, she'll know it was me. She'll know it was me for perhaps sure. To number 2, that Aiden Hutchinson is the third defensive end of the Big Ten over the last 6 years. That's probably true. Because you look at Bosa and Chase Young and these guys, and he finished second this year's Heisman voting. Willekes is a very good player too, but it's absolutely who he played for. There was here's my argument for Aiden though. These other guys have been worthy too. Like, we suck at this award so badly that the top defensive guy never gets. I like that these defensive guys are in the mix. They should be every year. We don't know what a good football player is. That said, he definitely had a lot of momentum. He had a surge. There was a lot of media that was pushing Aiden Hutchinson, and that media surge put him ahead of Kenneth Walker. There's no question about it. If Kenneth Walker had the same hype train that Aiden Hutchinson did, then Walker would have been.
The hype train was the highlight tape of him just max slapping Ohio State linemen and Iowa linemen,
and that was legit.
Impressive,
and that was legit. And But Walker, remember, and when Michigan State struggled to stop Hutchinson, Walker, he was the answer. Down 16, the multiple touchdown runs. He had 5 touchdowns that day, including a 58-yard run. Like, we've seen what Walker can do for Michigan State against a team with a player of that ilk. So I'm not saying Hutchinson was undeserving. I voted Hutchinson third. I voted Walker second. So I'm not anti-Hutchinson, but I just think Walker got absolutely screwed, and it's the system and how little most of the people who vote saw Kenneth Walker that created it.
Dominic up next. Number 1, Graham needs to label Michigan football matchup proof right before the Georgia game. Mentioned sweat equity just to be safe. 2, Graham did not say reach across the aisle about MSU fans, but God damn it, it's way funnier thinking he did. And 3, I'm very delicate. I get hydra facials regularly. You shouldn't fear me in any dark alleys, Grahammy.
Yeah, I don't. And
I don't know. What does your face look like?
You've seen Dominic.
I know. I'm just saying. But after all, if he gets all of these hydra facials.
No, yeah.
Don't say that at Hawaii Spa.
So don't ask for any facials at Hawaii
facials
Spa.
There.
Yeah. Right before our last show before we go to break, because I should let people know we are going to be off from December 22nd until the new year.
Hell yeah.
Just because I'm going to be in Atlanta. It's the week of Christmas. It's going to be a tricky week to do the shows, and we'll do a big bonanza show on the 22nd that Wednesday, I think, and then we'll be off until right after the Northwestern basketball game as well. And but right on the 22nd, if you want me to say that Michigan football is matchup proof, I will do it for you.
You just did. Mother Tucker, first timer. Number 1, Desmond Howard is everything wrong with Michigan. 2, we are officially a football school. And 3, college refs are ass. Did I do this correctly?
You did, Mother Tucker. Look, very succinct, very pithy, but just right. I mean, right, perfect, very quick. I
loved them.
And solid. Jason got through them with no big words. Desmond Howard he does epitomize sort of the smugness of Michigan. Like, Michigan has this problem.
But he can be. He won a Heisman Trophy.
Well, he's an unbelievable player, and I don't doubt he's a decent guy either. I don't usually talk about things that are happening live.
Packers, dude.
But fuck, I mean, I've got the under here, and it's just not going to hit.
We're going to financially recover from this.
Motherfucker. But anyway, there is it's It's not a win. It's not a win with class mentality. It's not a win. Act like you've been there before, and that's part of the fun of college sports. Part of the fun of rivalries. But Desmond Howard, I understand why he gets under people's skin. There's no question. And by the way, football school for sure. I think Michigan State is a. I mean, not by a long way, but where people's what stirs the soul. I think football wins it.
Maybe me be up next. Number one, I should have known that the Broncos would play really well in the wake of Demaryius Thomas passing. 2, free tickets are the best tickets. And 3, people who go in and out of their seats 3 times or more a game aren't fans. Sit and watch. You don't need a full meal at 3:30 p.m., you freak.
Appreciate you, Michelle. Now, she was at the Broncos game today, Broncos-Lions game. She lives in
couple
in Colorado.
Brendas there.
Yeah.
Having you get up and down.
Back and forth. Yeah, no, I dealt with
Can't
this.
eat before you go.
You know, and I've started thinking about this more and more. I went to a Rams-Lions game with Elizabeth a few years ago at Ford Field, and where we were seated, the aisle was within our view of much of the field, and the amount of people walking up, I was like, what are we doing here? Like, just sit for a minute. You know, it was. I totally get that.
Got to have my popcorn for the first quarter.
It's one of the things I love about soccer and Premier League soccer. Fuck. You're not allowed to move, and hey, you might miss the only goal that you get up at halftime. That's it. I'm totally with you.
Alex James. Number one, Johnny Davis will win the Big Ten Player of the Year. 2, MSU earns a 5 seed in the dance and falls to a number 1 in the Sweet 16, similar to 07-08, which launched a great 3-year run and Rube's hatred of Memphis. 3, Coca-Cola is worth checking out, but keep an eye on the creepy animatronic polar bear.
That's in Atlanta, the Coca-Cola thing there. I got you.
You got to go now.
Yeah. Johnny Davis has been really good. I think both, there are a couple teams that Iowa surprised me too, and Wisconsin, Iowa, those are teams that have a similar young player like Keegan Murray, in Iowa, who's been fantastic. MSU a 5 seed in the dance and falls to a 1 seed. I can totally see that scenario. I think there's a chance MSU plays themselves above a 5 seed. I do. They're going to have to stay healthy, right? And all the things that are sort of in play right now are going to have to stay in play. And there'll be a point in the season where they drop a couple or something goes wrong, and they're going to have some tough road games. But the Big Ten is done enough, and there's a chance they finish high enough that, they're a team that could play itself into a top 3 seed, I think.
Don't coach my team.
Bo McJunkins, number 1, MSU will finish 2nd in the Big Ten behind Purdue. 2, MSU will miss sharing with Purdue by 1 game because they shoot 15% at Mackey. And 3, Desmond Howard made the Heisman super uncomfortable.
So the good news, Bo, is Michigan State only plays Purdue once. It's in late February, and it's at Breslin. So they also have that going for them. So that and what'll be fun is if, let me look that, give me some off for just 1 second.
Off.
Woo. All right, February 26th is the Purdue at Michigan State game, and so there are only 2 games after that in the regular season. What could be fun is if Michigan State plays to the level where that game means something for the Big Ten title. I know Purdue's struggling right now. I still think Purdue's going to get rolling a little bit, and there are just so many games before. I mean, so much is going to happen. But the schedule does set up where that could be just a lively, pretty awesome event at Breslin.
Ron Quicksoat, number
TOT
1.
or whatever.
Number 1, Spartan basketball will win the Big Ten if Christie can average 10 points a game in conference. 2, Big Ten, say hello to Tyson Walker. He's going to be a headache for you. 3, love the new talent in the portal, but the football team will lose some players like Crouch to make room.
That's going to be part of it every year, is you're going to lose some guys you love, or at least guys you like, or guys you thought were going to be part of it. It's just
the problem is the guys coming in you're not familiar with, so it's kind of weird losing a guy.
Right, and guys, Ronald Williams a year ago seemed better than Ronald Williams now. That's always also going to be the case. The guy coming in is going to be like, this guy must be incredible. And so sometimes they'll work out and sometimes they won't. There's always a reason they're in the portal, and it's not always the same reason. I'm with you. Look, I think Tyson Walker is there were a couple plays he made. There's one that Gabe Brown missed a shot where he sort of danced, and the way he drew the defense, danced around the defense, drew a guy in, and then kicked to Gabe Brown. And Gabe missed it, and Gabe had a good game, I'm just saying. But that particular play was one of those things where, boy, the stress that he put on the defense in that moment in the half court was the sort of thing they just didn't have last year.
Eric Ziegler, number one, Desmond Howard's snarky comment about Ohio State's offensive line during the Heisman ceremony is a case in point why all of college football hates Michigan. They win one game in 10 years and can't even fake some humility. 2, Formula One might as well be the WWE. Excuse me. Changing rules mid-race to manufacture drama and make things exciting is a disservice to anyone watching and the teams competing. 3, flour tortilla tacos are ass. Give me corn or give me death.
Appreciate you, Eric.
I like flour.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
But look, I also appreciate a strong stance. You like what you like. Formula One is like one of these things that it's gotten hot. Like, I don't watch it, but some people are really into it.
But it sounds terrible. It's just the two teams, like he was saying.
I don't really know what's happening.
I don't know. I know it's two guys that have a chance to win each race.
Okay.
And if Leonard Hamilton doesn't win, I think that's the guy for Mercedes or something. Everybody's
he's not the Florida
off.
State basketball coach, same guy.
Yeah, he does both.
Yeah, figured that. Now, we talked about Desmond a little bit there. Look, there is a remarkable lack of humility given what the last decade plus happened, but they're enjoying it and they're living true to their personality. But it is true. This is why I don't say all of college football hates them. This is why their rivals get so annoyed by them.
And why am I ripping on F1? I watch college football. Right? It's the same 2 teams every year. 2 or 3 teams. Spartans, 18770. 1, SEC voters are now the reason Kenneth Walker was not in New York yesterday. 2, funny how quality point guard and good defense can make an over-the-hill coach turn into a genius coach. And 3, nothing beats a 3-day weekend. Fuck, I wish I had a 3-day weekend.
You're right about that. So it is true. The SEC voters. I mean, the problem is it was not people up here. It was not the Detroit media or anybody around here that didn't give Kenneth Walker decent consideration. I even think the people in Ohio probably had him in their top 3 often and different. But I do think down south, people nobody watched him play Penn State. They may have seen the Ohio State game. And that's their lasting memory. They might see the Michigan game, but that was a while ago. He had a big game, and that might be it they saw of him all season. And so, again, it's the problem with the system.
But he was getting some national pub there. People had to have heard about him. I just don't. That blows my mind. If you have a vote,
the problem is just from a yardage standpoint alone, it doesn't stand out as like this guy.
But
blew
to do the
people
math,
away.
if you look at his numbers and everybody talking about how he turned this team around and what Michigan State was supposed to do before the season.
It's not just that. There are guys, people go, oh, look what this guy did when he won it as a running back. Yeah, but okay, that was also in 15 games. Like, people don't see their numbers after 12
games. That was Derrick Henry running behind the Alabama line.
And again, his numbers were about the same as Kenneth Walker's after 12 games.
Grob up next, number 1. A Heisman first place vote is 3 points. Local reporters playing it straight hurt Walker. 2, 9 of Hutchinson's 14 sacks came versus the number 95 rated offensive line in Penn State. Washington's weak in block Montana pylons, plus the Buckeyes' flu-ridden bunch, plus he's 5th in solo tackles for Michigan. All of it equals Heisman fraud.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's worthy of consideration. I watched Michigan State just basically say, fuck it, we're going to hold them, and cause all sorts of problems. But to your first point, Grob, and I worry there was a third take that isn't here because I don't see it, and I apologize. That sometimes happens to me. It's just the way Twitter works, right? Sometimes it doesn't. I don't see it for whatever reason. Local reporters playing it straight, though. I do think, but that's got to be the system. You have to do it right. You have to do it straight, because if everybody's just in their own region going, well, screw it. Other people are going to screw Walker, so I'm going to put Kenneth Walker. Then it's got even less meaning. The best thing that could happen is, and I'd be interested to see what Jack Ebling, who runs the Heisman, decides who gets a Heisman vote around here, and is tight with their committee people, thinks about this. Best thing that can happen is people like me, every one of us. There are like 870 reporters media people have a vote. I'm going to tell you right now, about 700 of them at least should lose their votes, and it should be stripped from us, and they should reevaluate and redo the whole thing. And I don't think it's going to happen. But
why so many?
Well, the idea is if you have that many, that you do get, closer to the right thing. But I think you'd be much better off with 15 people who were watching all the games who were charged with doing this, or 50 who were, a panel of 50 retired media folks or coaches or whatever they are. I mean, I'm not saying they have to be college coaches. They can be high school coaches. Guys,
would you trust a guy
sport.
like Stanford Steve that's on the Scott Van Pelt show?
I would.
Or Scott Van Pelt, right? I mean, or I know that people hate Bear. I know people hate that Bear guy, but how about guys like Harry?
Here's what I want, though. So the national
people are so scared of gambler opinions.
You cannot be somebody who has another assignment that's more important, though. So even if you're a national writer and you have time to watch all these national games, if your assignment the day Michigan State played Ohio State led you to watch a different game, and you didn't get around to seeing Kenneth Walker against Penn State. Sorry, I meant Michigan State, Penn State. And you didn't get around to seeing that game, you don't qualify. Like, that's the problem, is you have to have people who kind of understand this is part of their task.
Molon Lobby, Spartan. Number one, what do Walter Camp voters know that Heisman voters don't? Heisman voters are ass. 2, Hutchinson, closer to Wilkes than Bosa, not worthy of a number 1 pick. And 3, Western Kentucky's quarterback, Zappy, is set to break Burrow's past records in the bowl game. His offensive coordinator, Kitley, will be the next Kingsbury or Riley.
A Michigan State fan saw him, what up close and personal. I'm looking for some sort of, sometimes words escape me. I kind of suck at this. But,
Cockburn.
Yeah, Walter Camp is not done by, I'm not sure who all does Walter Camp, to be honest with you. I should know that, and I just don't. It's not done the same way, though. It's done differently. Walter Camp, you remember, fucked up the first week.
Right.
That was when he had when Kenneth Walker had 264 yards or whatnot against Northwestern, and they gave it to a dude who had considerably less.
But they made it right in the end.
They did.
Jay from North Coast Wealth Management. 3, not 4 pithy takes. Number 1, the Spartans are a fun basketball team. 2, EPL early game times are awesome. And 3, malls suck.
Yeah, he showed me a picture, too, of them mall. When's the last time you were in a mall and, like, really shopped and been there?
Meridian Mall.
Recently?
Last year.
It's always such a throwback. I went to get
Lansing Mall is just too depressing.
Yeah, that would really depress me. I worked there.
Actually, I did
school.
a card show at the Lansing Mall, so whatever.
I worked there at CPI Photo, 24-hour or 1-hour photo place when I was a senior in high school.
Yeah, you were looking at nudes in the background.
Well, yes. So people probably don't know this. I probably should share this story. But what happened was a lot of people would come in sometimes it was just couples. Sometimes it was like spring break photos. And there would sometimes be nudes, sometimes sexual things. And we had two, keep in mind, I'm a 17-year-old senior in high school, and most of the people working there were like college graduate student types dudes. And we had 2 30-something women who were our managers. And if they were around, nudes wouldn't get developed. Like the nude negative would come in, they just hand it, they say, we don't do these. But if the guys were working, you were fine. But we also had a file. In the file, like you'd show up, and your name is in alphabetical order and all that, in the little filing cabinet thingamajig right behind the cash register. We had a file called Mac Daddy, and in that file was the extra copy of all the
nudes,
or the photos we wanted to keep.
Damn, this is revenge porn before revenge porn.
Not good. We would have been canceled for this now for sure.
Holy shit, yeah.
It's like, so I remember, for example, I was the photo editor at the Lansing Sexton student paper, and somebody came in who were, what the fuck are the Packers doing here? And somebody came back from spring break, and with, I don't want to say, these were not overly sexual photos, but it was girls in bikinis, and they were showing their spring break photos at the school paper to us, and everybody goes to CPI Photo because I could always get them the discount. And I turned it around, I looked at the code, and I could read the code on the back, and I could tell how many of these were made. And I said, "How many do you have?" She said, "Doubles." I said, "There's another copy of all of these floating around." I'm sorry.
And you guys shared those?
I didn't look at that file very often, but I did have people come in who were like, I remember developing one with a guy just standing naked at the end of a hallway. And so he came to pick up his photos, and we had these little enlargement, like you're going to make a photo, something, an 8x10 or whatever, an enlargement tease sticker you could put on one. And so I put it right under his penis, and I put that photo on top, and it said, "Picture it big." And then I asked him when I rang him up, "Do you want to look through these while I ring you up?" And he opened it, saw it, slammed them shut, said, "I'm good." And that was just how that worked. That is a story almost worth telling.
Oh my God!
Presented by our friends.
You looked at a dude's mule just for a joke.
And
you put a sticker on his mule.
I put a sticker on his mule.
That's a story we're telling.
That's the story
man.
we're telling,
Yes.
presented by our friends at Midtown Brewing Company. That is 402 South Washington Avenue in downtown Lansing. Just a terrific place for drinks with a friend, dinner. It's a great date spot, great place after work, great lunch spot. I mean, the menu is diverse and outstanding. Like if incredible salads and sandwiches and burgers and also comfort foods like a lobster mac type thing. I mean, it's just really, really good stuff. And great beer selection. It's got this cozy but spacious vibe that I've talked about before. Just one of my absolute favorite places to be in the world and have a conversation with a friend. Midtown Brewing Company, 402 South Washington Avenue in downtown Lansing. I've lost my where we were on this. Was this from Jay and
I don't know where
yeah, it was
we're
Jay.
at.
It was Mall Suck.
Packers are ass.
This is from Jay.
You're telling stories about dudes' mules.
This is Jay from North Coast Wealth Management. So malls. That
They're depressing.
I'm with you. I love the English Premier League early game times. Before the day gets going, before all your life gets in the way, you get up. You're able to watch a soccer game you love, zero interruption. Have your coffee. It is absolutely fantastic. And
the old ball and chain wakes up, and then I got to turn the TV on.
I did not say that. And would never say that. Would absolutely not say that.
John up next. Number 1, I imagine at 20, Graham and Jason had nothing in common and would not be friends. Same at 42. 2, MSU is an underrated perimeter shooting team. They can knock down some unexpected shots late in a possession when needed. And 3, MSU hockey is worth some attention this winter.
I'm with you on MSU hockey. Just had an overtime win at Notre Dame. I think was important. You look, they're just significantly better than they've been, not only in watching them play, but in standing. And we'll see if they actually get that sort of buzz and attention. It takes a lot. And MSU hockey used to be where MSU fans got their worth. Like if you're under 30, you really don't understand this. But what killed MSU hockey, as much as Tom Izzo loves MSU hockey, he also killed it. Partly. Part of it was MSU hockey sucking for a while. But part of it is that MSU basketball wasn't very good. And so MSU hockey was the place that MSU could win a national championship. It was the place that owned Michigan in the 80s and early 90s. And so that it became this bigger-than-life thing. And trust me, right now it's just not. Like we've sort of committed to covering MSU hockey, subscriber only, with a fair amount of intensity, although not as much as we probably could have. But
you guys aren't intense?
Well, what I'm saying is...
I'm going to the City Pulse then. They're intense. Yeah. Boy, I read that article. What a rambling manifesto.
Yeah.
It was like 19 paragraphs. I'm scrolling. I'm like, what?
I haven't read it yet because what's going to happen is the second I read it, the next time I have whiskey, I'm going to get online and I'm going to freaking... And I just got a new bottle. And it'd be bad. I just don't want to do it. But MSU hockey is worth some attention this year, without question.
Pudgy creature. The NFL is ass. The majority of games are unwatchable, and injuries are a plague, maybe slightly gambling related. I feel that.
Although this was a week where a lot of the stuff, like if you picked money line favorites to win and strung them together in a parlay, you did well. There weren't a lot. This was, they have theme weeks. This was the week where the Chiefs took care of business. This was the week where the Titans took care of business. Everybody took care of business this week. So I don't know what game you were on, but this didn't.
Everybody took care of business.
Except for
Packers.
For
my fucking parlays.
Yeah.
They're going to go down in flames. Carl Mylock. Number 1, Western Michigan University has the best college hockey team in the state. 2, Kenneth Walker finishing 6th in the Heisman voting is outrageous. They are making something out of nothing with Hutchinson. And 3, Desmond Howard's comments to Stroud made him look like an ass, especially after Michigan has won 2 of the past 15.
It just wasn't called for. And look, what's funny is, and if you missed it, Desmond Howard said basically, you've got on stage, you've got Hutchinson and Stroud right there, and somewhere in there, he made the comment that there's somebody who's going to get in between them and stop them from fighting, sort of mockingly.
Yeah.
And he said better than his offensive lineman who didn't stop.
Damn, you going to let him talk to you like that?
It's a funny line. And look, we're talking about how bland a show this is. But if you're Desmond Howard, you're not the guy to make that, and it doesn't work there because it's the only shot of humor in the entire freaking hour. It didn't work, and Desmond's got to be smarter than that. That said, I mean,
he is a genius. He makes millions not giving out any opinions other than Michigan's going to win. He's brilliant.
Good for him. Good for freaking him. Yep.
Tyler, number 1, Pitt -4, swing to MSU -2. Numbers are saying Pickett sits, Walker plays. 2, pass through Freeport on the way to Galena this weekend. Could hear murmurings about a young Graham in the back alleys and taverns.
Absolutely.
Interesting. 3, start checking the first half MSU basketball spread and points. You're welcome.
Yeah, no, Tyler's all over this. I think it was 5.5 against Penn State. Michigan State, when they get up on people, it's and they've been letting teams a little bit back in the games late because they're way ahead. It's not this team. There's a trend a little bit, and might as well take advantage of it as long as you can. Tyler's been savvy on this. Appreciate you passing through Freeport. By the way, Galena's amazing too. That's where we got our nickname at the Young Guns. It was a high school football game in Galena.
That's pretty badass.
Years and years ago. I do think Kenny Pickett is not playing. I don't know why you would, if you were considering playing, I don't know why you would not just say it. And I think at this point, there's very unlikely he is. And I think MSU is a good play right now. Get it? And I don't know.
It's really not a win-win for him. If he torches Michigan State, people are going to look at it and go, maybe be impressed by it. But if he doesn't torch State, who's second?
And it sucks for Michigan State too, because now you beat a guy who's the backup. It's like, they beat the backup quarterback from Pitt. It takes the sting out of the bowl. It takes the prestige out of the bowl game. It takes some of the fun out of it.
Ben don't break defense.
It sucks. I wish he was playing.
Kurt Wisniewski. Number 1, Hutchinson was second in the Heisman. Shows that sports writers treat this award like a high school popularity contest. 2, Michigan basketball is the Memphis of the Big Ten. 3, tried to order the college refs are ass, green and gray shirt, sold out. Boo. That's not possible. We'll get you one. Bonus, best podcast ever.
Yeah, it shouldn't. If it's sold out, that shouldn't be the case.
DM me, Kurt. We'll get you one.
Yeah. We'll make sure that happens. Absolutely. And thank you, by the way. We appreciate you. Michigan basketball is struggling. I watched that Minnesota game, and it's, watching Michigan State, we saw this last year. Point guard play is just so essential. We're watching that. It's part of Memphis's problem right now, and Michigan doesn't have it, and the rest of it doesn't work when you don't have the point guard play, and I don't know if they're going to be able to find it. We talked about this with Brendan Quinn in last Tuesday's show. It's an issue, and I don't know that there's a remedy, and it kills your ceiling, and you got to make sure you have a point guard. And you don't think Izzo's learned his lesson on this? I mean, look at this. He's got Tyson Walker, who's got years left. A.J. Hogard, who's a pretty young player. Jaden Akins was a point guard and at some point could be a point guard. They've got another 4-star kid in Holloway coming in from Minneapolis next year. Like, Izzo was never again fucking around without a point guard. And sometimes these coaches learn. I remember being at a press conference with Tom Crean at Marquette when they lost the NIT game to Western Michigan in 2005, and when I lived in Kalamazoo, by the way.
No shit.
And they had some injuries and some things like that. I think it was like the Travis Diener era or whatever, but he was being grilled by the media, and he said, I'll never let us again not have enough guards. Like, coaches hit this point where something happens, and they go through a year like that, and they learn from it, and they stock up.
Gluten Weasel. Number 1, the success of Michigan football is providing great cover for the audible thud that is Michigan hoops. 2, you're an elder millennial when you criticize the Izzone for not being loud enough. And 3, A Muppet Christmas Carol is maybe the best holiday movie to warm our cold hearts. Yeah.
It's a good movie.
It is great.
It's a great
Thank
movie.
you, Skymint.
Yeah.
This shit doesn't hold up without Skymint.
Skymint helps. Skymint helps with a lot of holiday movies, by the way.
Yeah.
And a lot of classics that you've seen like 12 times, and somebody in the family wants to see them again. Like, It's a Wonderful Life. Okay, it's But I've seen it enough, and it's just okay. It's not the best Jimmy Stewart movie. I'm telling you.
Oh, do tell.
Anatomy of a Murder, which is filmed in Marquette, Michigan, by the way. Better movie, far better movie. And there's a great line about the big city attorney coming from Lansing that I appreciate in that Anatomy of a Murder as well. But if you're stuck watching one of these movies that everybody thinks is a classic that maybe you're a little tired of, Skymint. Go to skymint.com, find the location nearest you, go to a Skymint store. You can order online as well and go pick it up and just get some edibles and you'll
stop criticizing the IZone for every possession.
You'll get through it.
Gideon, not a hot take, just wanted to say I appreciate the show. It's been a great slice of home for me since moving to Japan. FYI, Japanese college football refs are ass too.
Fantastic stuff from Gideon. He's only been there about a month too, so
we're big in Japan already.
Yeah, we love it.
Taking it over.
Thanks, Gideon.
Ray, number 1, social media has made it impossible to have friendly rivalries. 2, reports of Izzo losing his touch are greatly exaggerated. The school down the road is showing how hard it is to be consistently good. And 3, signing day fireworks on the horizon. Tuck coming.
Be an interesting week, by the way, and we're going to do our midweek show on Wednesday night instead of Tuesday night. There are no basketball games this week.
5 hours, wall to wall.
Well, at least the first 2 will be actual podcasting. The last 3 will just be for your
Comparoni talking to himself.
But it's signing day, and so after at least it's the first signing day, so we'll do a show after that stuff evolves, and we'll also it'll be our bowl picks. So we'll do our bowl picks with Harry. And go through all the bowl games on Wednesday's show. But you're right on. So I don't know if there were ever friendly rivalries, but social media makes it so much worse.
Oh yeah,
because everybody just talks shit to everybody, and before that you just didn't have.
But
that.
People pay attention to people that have like 7 followers though, and they take that as like gospel if someone says something. Well, I saw it on Twitter. Like, why do you let those kind of people piss you off? I don't know.
Well, and you think about it, like if in the old days, when our worlds were smaller and you didn't have social media, you might have 2 or 3 friends who are friends or rival fans, or a couple people in the office that you dealt with. But when you have to deal with people face to face, you're more cordial. You're better. You're just better about it. And I think that's one of the many things about social media that is just evil.
Teresa's Weekend High Notes. Weekend High Notes, written again. Number 1, Mondo El Toro Gutierrez is a badass LFA fighter that what the world needs to know about. He is good. 2, can fantasy be over already? She's talking about football. Losing steam over here. And 3, I'm continually impressed by the Rube's artistic skills. His latest work is quite the masterpiece.
What
Thank
is this?
you, Skymint. Oh, you saw it, man. I posted my art.
That's true.
The Rube, the artist.
It was pretty good. Did you
really
sign into
surprised.
her account, or did she do these?
No. She was really impressed.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, she should be.
I have some artistic ability if I'm told what to do, but
I have no doubt about that. And by the way, Therese is the one who fell for you. I mean, she's gonna. I mean, she's.
Oh God, yeah.
I mean, she sees it. She sees the brilliance.
But
of
if
the
listen, if I make something that's complete ass, she'll let me. I mean, you can just tell.
Yeah.
She'll just walk out of the room. Franco. Number 1, Jaden Reed should come back for another year. Walker should go. 2, Michigan got the mojo. Take Michigan. They will beat Georgia down. Trust the eyes, guys. 3, transfer portal plus and recruits equals Tuck coming.
So do you think, the way Michigan's playing, what we saw from Georgia the last time we saw them, do you think Michigan beats Georgia down?
I can't give you a rational explanation of this game or what I actually believe because I will be lying. I just would like Georgia to beat them 49-3. So I can't give you an honest assessment because Michigan might be able to at least cover the spread. What is the spread in this game? Is it moved?
Yeah, it was like 8, somewhere around 7.5.
It's pretty heavy. I don't know.
Yeah, I wouldn't bet it. I don't feel comfortable with it because Georgia. I had confidence all year in Georgia, and I lost it entirely in that last game. And Michigan's playing
Alabama,
pretty well.
Though.
Yeah,
Saban. Seth. Number 1, Heisman voters have an important responsibility. If they can't truly evaluate top players, then take their ballot away.
That's all I'm saying.
2, is this your account? 2, offensive balance plus great defense makes this one of Izzo's most fun teams. And 3, get vaccinated.
So I'm with you. The problem is any Heisman voter who works has a job like mine, who it can't evaluate top players correctly because we just don't have the ability to see them. I mean, I guess you could if you DVR'd every game and kind of knew who the people were who were towards the top and made it your point, but then you're going to have other requirements. 1, divorced. 2, no children. No other hobby. Like, you honestly cannot do it if you, like Chris Solari works an intense Saturday on a beat and has 3 small children. There's no fucking way he should have a Heisman ballot. And I'm sorry. If you know, having kids or being in a happy marriage or anything like that should preclude you from a vote. But I'm just saying, if you're also going to be a beat writer, you can't have those things. You better be in the unhappiest marriage in the world and have no kids or be divorced. And I mean, I know that sounds intense and weird, but I'm just saying that there's just no way to
should have a 1-bedroom apartment and not do anything else except watch college football.
Well,
Jesus.
I'm saying you can have all those things if you're not like us.
Like it's some brain trust or something to figure out.
If you're sitting around watching football all day and because you don't have a job covering a specific team, then you can be married. Then you can have kids. I'm just saying if you we'll fix this in post. This is really
kids,
bad.
watch football.
This is a really
And can we get vaccinated just so I don't have to watch those commercials that try to scare you into getting vaccinated? Like having like a 9-year-old girl telling everyone. I mean, just had enough. Gavin Haas. Number 1, Nate Oates should be the next head coach at Michigan State. Love Nate Oates. 2, the Lions won't take Kayvon Thibodeau with the first pick. And 3, this MSU basketball team has the possibility to be like the 2019-2020 team.
It's different in certain ways, obviously, but they do have good point guard play and good interior play. And, I mean, young Gavin is historical referencing. It doesn't go as
He's still
deep as
15. I feel like he has to age at some point.
At some point, Gavin turns 16, and we'd like to know when that birthday is, Gavin, if you would let us know. But, yeah, I do think they have the potential, and going back to the point of Seth, when he talked about offensive balance and great defense it's one of Izzo's most fun teams. I think, first of all, things are relative to the previous year, which wasn't as fun. But I do think this is a team that's kind of easy to root for. They're fun to watch right now. They do have balance. They've got a lot of interesting players, and they're playing pretty well. And they play pretty good defense. They seem to give a shit. And the thing they haven't done yet is they don't look scared on the road. I mean, there's just a lot of things that are positives to this point. Are they the most talented team in college basketball? Absolutely not. But they might be good enough collectively and have enough parts the right places to beat just about anybody on a given night.
Nate Oates, next coach, Michigan State. I mean, he turned that Alabama program into a top 10.
We'll see. I mean,
that's amazing.
Yeah, we'll see where Nate's career is. The thing about it is Izzo's going to be around in 5-6 years. So where's Nate Oates then? Who's the top guy then? What? How do you think of Dwayne Stevens? What's Drew Valentine doing then? What does he do at Loyola? Like, there are all sorts of things that are going to happen over the next 6 years that'll alter this perception.
G.E. Miller, number 1, only 4 undefeated Big Ten hoops teams after 2 league games. 2, MSU is top 3 with Purdue and Ohio State and has a good of a shot as any of winning the league with its 1 game against Purdue at home. And 3, Tyson Walker's ceiling is MSU ceiling, most important player on the team by far.
I agree. And what's weird, and this may be a little leery of Gabe Brown's hoops IQ yesterday, he said he thinks the team revolves around Marcus Bingham and Malik Hall because of the versatility and the different things they provide. And while both those are very important players, and Tyson Walker is what makes this thing go. It's his show.
Hogard looked good as well, though.
He did,
the basket.
He's been. And the best thing that's happening with AJ Hogard is it's not like when you put your backup point guard and you're just trying to survive those minutes. He's a different player, but he's a constantly aggressive pushing. Like, if you're the defense, you're the opponent, usually the backup comes in, you get a breather. You don't have to deal with – you're dealing with somebody who wants to run even more. You're dealing with somebody who's aggressive, and, yeah, he makes some mistakes a little bit out of that aggression at times. But A.J. Hogard's an ideal backup point guard for this team because he is – you just don't get a break.
Diuper, number 1, MSU's offense runs best when Tyson Walker goes quick and looks to score first. 2, NFL scouts are the people most qualified to vote on an award for best college football player. And 3, this one was brought to me by Skymint. Everyone's wife is technically their ex-girlfriend.
That's true, right? Most, not always. I mean, you can marry your best friend if you never were girlfriend, boyfriend. That happens.
Your wife can be your best friend.
I know I have a cousin who married a woman that I don't think they were ever technically dating. They were just best friends and they got married. Right? So it could happen.
But he's saying technically it's as you get married, it's not your girlfriend anymore.
Right. And at one point she was your girlfriend. I don't know why I had to analyze that for a while.
I don't know, but it was fun.
Was it? Was it great? It was. Thank you, Skyman, for that. NFL scouts as the people voting on the. You don't want that because
they watch too much football.
Well, and it's not their job. Yeah, they know too much in some ways, and the coaches would then be.
Why is that a bad thing?
Well, what I mean is they know too much about these kids beyond off the field, and it wouldn't.
Isn't that better?
Yeah, but you want coaches to be able to be open to these guys that their only agenda is helping somebody get drafted or giving them an honest look at somebody, not trying to hype them their guy for the Heisman. Yeah, I think that would be the only reason not that they won't have a good eye for it. I'm just saying. And the other problem is, I mean, they'd have to collectively get together too, and not because they're so regionalized and other things. Some of these guys never see.
I mean, why are we
Kenneth
scared
Walker.
of gambling? Guys that are in the gambling world, because you think guys in the gambling world are going to risk their reputation in fixing a Heisman vote? Then we just don't get to gamble on the Heisman. If that's the case, I wouldn't care. Take away gambling on the Heisman. Let the guys that gamble and watch all of these games seriously with money on the line vote.
I don't know.
All right.
These same guys who, I don't know, some of these sharps, man, they want to win 53% of the time. They play the numbers. They don't know the matchups. I'm not down with that.
All right. Kyle Renman. Number 1, MSU men's basketball will finish in the top 3 of the Big Ten.
I think it's Raymond.
All right. 2, with all the injuries and losing Eliza Winston to the portal, will they make the NCAA tournament? 3, I appreciate you guys. You have helped me through a lot over the last month.
Well, we appreciate you, Kyle. Thanks for saying that. I don't.
Sorry, Graham got your name wrong.
It'll be interesting to see the MSU women's basketball team. That was a weird loss to lose a starting point guard. And I know that Dee Hageman, the 5-star freshman, is eventually going to take her spot, and that's why she's, sees the writing on the wall and is going. I mean, MSU basketball top 3 in the Big Ten. I think that right now, the way they're playing, you'd have to say they have a pretty damn good shot at that.
Bear from Dallas. Number 1, wow. What a football season and what a fun team to watch. You can tell how much these players care for each other and what outstanding young men they are. It is sad that we just have one more game to watch them play. 2, but wait. I can say the same thing about this basketball team. Early results say that this will be a fun team to watch and a season that the Spartans fans can really enjoy. Again, this is a team with players that care for each other and consist of outstanding young men. And 3, we are blessed as Spartan fans, football school or basketball school. We could be both. We have 2 premier programs with each led by outstanding coaches, and it's a wonderful place to be. We are also led by a great athletic director, and there's a lot of positive energy throughout Spartan athletics. There are a lot of universities that would want to trade places with us.
I feel like Bear from Dallas should be in marketing for MSU here. This is
he's positive.
Yeah, very, very, very strong on this. I do think that it is, and the reason we always joke and ask about the football basketball school thing is it's an actual question. In most places, it's not. It is. I mean, you are incredibly lucky as an MSU fan to have that sort of balance and have both programs be relevant and good. Most places don't, and a lot of places when the one season ends, it's a long winter of basketball that people only sort of care about. Even when Oklahoma, for example, is really good in basketball, you look at their crowd. It's just people there. Okay, it's something to do. The students are kind of into it. It ain't the same. Like football is where it's at. And at MSU, you get to have both ways, and you can't really choose it. It chooses you. It's what you're into. It's what stirs your soul, and it's a great thing MSU has going.
Mr. Benjen, number 1, you want pithy? You got pithy. The next T-shirt must be Rube's quote: "You don't look cockburn in the eye."
Cockburn.
2, Izzo's teams improve the most in December. Come January 2nd, turnovers will lessen. Christie will vastly improve. Bingham will have eaten 140,000 calories.
So will I.
3, the LSJ is deader than Bergman.
Ouch.
Rest in peace, Dave Bergman.
I take offense to that. I think that's a bullshit comment. But you're
just trying to get you going.
You're entitled to you're absolutely entitled to your hot take.
What a scathing article by the City Pulse.
I could argue a million reasons why it is not, despite many difficult circumstances and why it is
I
still
for
relevant.
one have 3 subscriptions.
That's fucking right.
So
that's freaking
0 to the City Pulse. You know what side I'm on.
Yeah, absolutely. We talked earlier about MSU basketball. January 8th, Michigan. January 25th at Illinois. Those two games, I really want to see where this team is and what they do in those environments, and we'll get a sense because it's as they evolve. Like, I want them to go back and play the Baylor game again, and it's not that I think they're better than Baylor. I just want to see if that second half unfolds differently.
Room temperature takes. Number 1, this MSU team has raised expectations to a minimum of Sweet 16 or a Big Ten title. Anything less is a disappointment. 2, is Michigan hoops bad? And 3, Max Christie is a better all-around player than anticipated, but maybe his shooting slump isn't just a slump. We may need to reset expectations on him.
Yeah, I think it is a slump still. But
when that jumper gets going, look out.
Yeah, I mean, if he was somebody who couldn't shoot, they wouldn't be playing him 31 minutes a game, and they wouldn't letting him shoot the way he is, right? They see it, and that's the reason I'm questioning it. Now, Michigan hoops, is it bad?
Ain't good.
They're not playing well, and they don't have a point guard. And when you don't have a point guard, it's really hard to have a good basketball season, and that's right now what they got to figure out.
Sunshine Spartan. Number 1, Marcus Bingham will have a 10-plus year NBA career. 2, the 17th game of the NFL season has changed how the NFL is played. And 3, Christmas trees should be down no later than December 27th. I've been known to take down the Christmas tree at night.
On Christmas night. Where are you on the Christmas tree timing of taking it down?
God, what a Grinch. That night, I'm with him on the 27th. I chucked that thing by the street there.
See, to me, it's all about when you get it. The Christmas tree is no longer than a month-long deal.
We got our Saturday, so when do we get rid of it?
When did you get it? So Saturday. Was the 11th.
Yep.
So you can have yours
March
till January 11th almost. You can have yours into January.
Okay.
And when I was growing up, we used to get ours like 2 weeks before Christmas, and we keep it about 2 weeks after. And that's what I thought was normal. Now, when I was in Freeport that one time, I kept it until April. That was embarrassing, and that was a live tree, and getting rid of it was hard then, and all that stuff. Not a story I want to share again, but a story we're telling, presented by our friends at Midtown Brewing Company, 402 South Washington Avenue, in downtown Lansing. And if you haven't had the Midtown experience yet, I'm telling you right now, you will love this place. You'll love the beer selection. You'll love the menu. But back to we get ours now the first week in December, and we'll have ours down by New Year's, probably a day or two after Christmas.
Who gives a shit? If you want to leave it up, I don't know. I like to still leave up some Christmas stuff after, midway through January.
Okay, but he's got a couple other good takes here. Marcus Bingham, 10-year NBA career. Do you believe he is an NBA player or will be by the time he's done and will play?
I don't see it.
You don't?
No.
It's going to be really interesting to watch people evaluate him because he's obviously got the wingspan. Right. He'll play in the G League for a while. The question is, the NBA level, can he defend well enough? And I think he can rim protect to some degree. Can he rebound well enough? Is he strong enough? He's
got to do one thing really, really well in the NBA. And I don't know what that would be.
Yeah, 7'5" wingspan helps. He'll get a look. And I'm really curious to see, whether he has a 10-plus year NBA career or a 1-year NBA career or spends years overseas. Marcus Bingham would be wise to call Mark and Jay at North Coast Wealth Management without question. They will help him invest that wisely so he doesn't have to work after he turns 30. But most of us do. And so if you have questions about investing for retirement, saving for your kids' college education, and make sure they deserve to go to college before you save, call Mark and Jay. That's 248-626-2000, 248-626-2000. And look, they're both Spartans. If that matters to you, class of 95. Mark's a certified financial planner. Jay's a lawyer. Both are licensed, experienced wealth advisors, and they want to help you invest and plan for your life, your retirement, your needs, and find the best situation for you. Again, 248-626-2000. info@northcoastwm.com is Mark and Jay's email address, and you can find them online at northcoastwm.com.
Thomas Zambiasi, number 1, this MSU basketball team is the most fun to watch since the 18-19 squad. Might not be as good, yet plenty of season left. 2, the next season of F1 Drive to Survive is going to be incredible TV, and I can't wait to watch it. 3, if Spartan Stadium is getting upgrades, we need a petition for the giant Spartan statue to be built to improve the fan experience.
And he showed a pic like giant Spartan statue, like one that you could see from over the upper deck.
How long would that take to get
I
made?
did forever. I don't think
Don't get the guy that did the Magic statue.
Doesn't look like magic, does it?
No,
it's embarrassing.
Fred Sanford.
It's not good. It's not good. If one of you is our listeners, I apologize if you did.
No, you did a bad job. He doesn't look like Magic Johnson. We can't sugarcoat it. If you're listening, I'm sorry.
It's not magic.
It wasn't your best work. Jeff Oswald. Number 1, Kenneth Walker's apparent love for being a Spartan, coupled with name, image, and likeness dollars, will have him pull a Miles and stay another year. 2, Magic's really upped his Twitter praise for players, which will help recruiting. And 3, every time Graham says or writes that Jaden Akins glides, drink.
Yeah, it's starting to become a thing. When he rebounds and he glides.
Oh, man, like a gazelle.
Oh man, but he does. He glides. I don't know how else to say it. My vocabulary is very limited, and the word glides is in it. So that's what I say. Now, Kenneth Walker, the idea that he would say, and again, these are hot takes, so this is absolutely appropriate. He's not coming back, and NIL dollars and love of being a Spartan. I think he is appreciative of Michigan State. I think that's part of why he's going to play in the bowl game. He loves his teammates. He's loved this experience. He's part of this team, and it wouldn't feel right not to play in that game for him. And he's already taken advantage of some of the NIL dollar stuff.
Yeah, but what about Ishbia? He's like, what about you come back next year? How about 10 mil? 10 and a half?
Yeah, I don't.
How about you come back?
I mean, I guess for that,
right?
Would do it.
Is that legal?
I don't. That's a good question.
The NCAA and Emmert's going to start cracking down, they say.
I don't know what is and what isn't.
Ryan Schultz, number 1, I don't know which is the more egregious lie, we were told. Cade Cunningham is 6'8", or Max Christie is an elite shooter. 2, in terms of this team's ability to reach a high ceiling, I am far more concerned about Marble and Christie than I am about Hauser. And 3, time for a positive one. Shit, if K9 rushes for 200-plus against Pitt with no Jarrett Horst, put him in the Ring of Fame next year. And bonus, spin zone. Yes, MSU beating Purdue would have kept Michigan scum out of Indy, but not the college football playoff, and Ohio State would still get the rose. Imagine how livid the takes would be.
Yeah, no, it would be. People would not be happy at all. So Max Christie, I believe, still is an elite shooter. I just saw enough of his high school stuff, I think, from what coaches have told me beyond MSU's coaches. Like
Foster Lawyer was lighting it up.
Yeah, I mean, he was an elite shooter too. I mean, so you want to make sure it doesn't go that route. But I give it till what did I say? Give it through the. I guess we're getting to the point that I said give it 4 more games
after next game.
Yeah, give it a few more games. Give it a few more games. I'm telling you, at some point, I think the Christie thing will make sense. Everybody will understand why people saw what they saw in him. More concerned about Marble and Christie than Hauser. I think Marble's fine. I think he's backup center. He's been pretty good. I don't know where the concern is there, but
Hauser plays enough minutes where it has to be a concern.
And he played really well in the last game. The last 2 games, he's been like plus 18 and plus 20. He's had like the best plus minus of the whole team the last 2 games. So he's actually played, I think, pretty well. That just needs to continue.
Joey Hauser's back. Nick Torrey, number 1, Ferris State is the 3rd best college football team in Michigan. 2, most years lacking the go-to guy has been an issue at MSU. This year, it's a strength. Scoring depth is hard to game plan for. 3, Die Hard is not a Christmas movie. It merely occurs around the Christmas season. Why'd you turn your microphone off? I don't hear you. Your microphone's off. I can't hear you. What'd you do to the microphone?
I hit the host button. Now it's on. I hit it off and on. I'm sorry. I don't know.
Cockburn.
I just
what the hell?
I don't know. This is why they don't let me hit.
Blowing my mind. Stop hitting buttons.
Yeah, the technical stuff is not really my thing here. So I want to get in all 3 of these. I just watched a movie the other day, some Christmas movie with Netflix Christmas movie that was
Meredith Baxter Burney.
You would hate, but they got into this argument a little bit. And Die Hard is a Christmas movie. Where are you on this?
I don't really care. I just watch it as a movie. I wouldn't watch it, I don't think, on Christmas.
Right.
I don't really care about the movie.
To me, it's not. It's sort of like Trains, Planes, and Automobiles isn't really a Thanksgiving movie. It just happens around Thanksgiving. It becomes the only Thanksgiving movie. But So I like two things. One, to Ferris State being the third best college football team in the state of Michigan, I'm going to burst your bubble here. And Brian Kelly said it best. When I was covering Western Michigan when I lived in Kalamazoo years ago, there was this sort of drumbeat from Grand Valley that Grand Valley could have beat the MAC schools. That their players were just as good. Maybe they didn't have as many scholarships, but they were as good as Western and Central. And then Brian Kelly was asked when he moved from Central to Cincinnati about stepping up in competition and how much difference it was. Or maybe it was when he moved from Cincinnati to Notre Dame, but it was one of those steps. And he just said, nah, there's no difference really. I mean, there's a little bit of depth here and there, whatever. He goes, the hardest adjustment for me and the biggest adjustment in talent was going from Grand Valley to Central. And it was like their God at the time, Brian Kelly, had just sort of shut down that idea. And so while I think Ferris is an amazing team, there's a huge gap between those D2 schools and the Mid-American Conference schools in the state of Michigan. To your second point, Nick, though, the Michigan State lacking a go-to guy has been an issue, but this year it's a strength, and scoring depth is hard to game plan for. What helps is not just scoring depth. It's the sense of there are a number of guys who have the confidence and feel like Gabe Brown thinks he's the go-to guy. Tyson Walker is starting to emerge as a guy you want the ball in his hands late. Max Christie thinks he's going to be the go-to guy. And so what I mean by this is there's a confidence, and it's not just like they have guys who are capable of scoring. They have guys who think they're the dude, but they're fairly unselfish, and none of them are actually superstars right now, but it works. What they've got going works.
Call me Al. Number one, Graham lived in Kalamazoo is greater than Jerome Bettis is from Detroit. 2, if Boy Scouts are going to sell regular-sized bags of popcorn outside of Lowe's, they need to display the price as $20 instead of just giving me a cheapskate look when I ask for change. 3, the Grey Cup tonight is worth watching.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about the
Why is that on tonight?
I don't know. Why do they go
Put
up
that
against...
on Tuesday. I'd watch it on Tuesday.
So would I.
There's no more action, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. It's poor. Yeah. That's really poor timing. It's yeah, I don't really understand what they're doing there. I'm with you. So wait a sec. You're the Boy Scouts are selling regular sized popcorn bags, and they won't give. Yeah, right. I hate
no price.
This happened to me once. So at some point at ball games, beer prices went up, and nobody told me. And this is a long time ago. This is like 2002, 2003. But I remember being at a Brewers game, I think it was, and getting a beer, passing down a $5 bill and waiting for change, and then running after the guy because I was like, "Where's the change?" And back then, now beer, you couldn't even get beer for $5. Back then, it was like $4.75, and he thought I gave him a cheap tip. I thought beer was like $3. Yeah. And so, yeah, if they, yeah, there should absolutely be a sign.
How about we stop putting kids in like begging for money outside of places of commerce?
That too.
It makes me feel weird sometimes where I have to say no. Clint Bainey, number one, I hate Kenny G more than Couch's band teacher. The hair, the shitty music, the smugness. I had to check Wikipedia to see if he was a Michigan grad. 2, 543 days after losing my 1992 MSU class ring during my 50th birthday party, my beautiful fiance Brooke found it under our back deck. The same deck that witnessed me falling down 8 stairs, taking 3 tries to blow out 50 candles, and drinking more tequila than Pancho Villa. I fucking love that girl.
Sounds like you got to keep her.
Yeah, Clint's great. 3, cornerback pet peeve players wearing the number 0. What's next? Hey, my favorite player wears -7, and he made all conference.
Holy college basketball pet peeve is what I meant. Sorry, I should have clarified that.
Oh. Shit, you can't find a suitable number between 1 and 99. Bonus take. Purdue, it took you 125 years to be ranked number 1 for the first time in basketball and 72 hours to piss it away. Karma's a bitch. Bitch, spoiler makers.
It was bad. I mean, they finally got to number 1, and it just all fell apart.
Half-court shot.
Pretty amazing. Pretty.
Ron Harper selling shirts the next day.
Absolutely. I love that number 0 is like a pet peeve because I've actually requested number 0 occasionally on things, so I would.
What a badass you are.
I don't know why.
Why not double -0?
I like double 0 is what I like because like Robert Parrish's old number. I always thought it was
Eric
cool.
Montross.
It looked good on him. Yeah, that's what I what I was going for. And Tom Jones, shout out to him, the former Lansing Sexton, jazz band and band teacher. He would appreciate you, Clint.
Derek, our Spartan. Number 1, Michigan and Memphis will miss out on the NCAA tournament. 2, Tucker will get 1 5-star commitment come Wednesday. And 3, bowl season will actually be exciting with more fans traveling this year.
I'm looking forward to bowl season. I don't know about you. I mean, I love, first of all, I love betting on a lot of these games, but I just, every night there's like some random game and you do some research on it. You throw your money on one side and you root. It's kind of sweet. Wednesday will be interesting. This week, this signing day, and look, there's still a February signing day, and so it's not the end-all, be-all, but this is where you're going to judge Tucker now, and he's got the $9.5 million contract once the Board of Trustees ratifies it next week. But this is where, this is what they paid for originally, and now he's won, and it's fair to start judging these classes a little bit. Now, it's not fair to entirely judge them based on stars. What those classes become matters a ton too, but it's going to be very interesting to watch.
Matt Drolette, number 1, Seth Davis is right. MSU might be a top 10. Love this team. 2, Izzo dodged a bullet named Imani Bates. Locker room poison. And 3, Benda Atlanta Lots. The Nook in Midtown is a great MSU bar for the peach. Specialty tater tots, Michigan beer, and the owner is a Lansing Catholic grad.
I saw this. I'm definitely going to check out the Nook, and I believe I've actually been there in Midtown to the Nook last time that I was in Atlanta, but we'll check it out. Thank you, Matt, for the recommendation. Any MSU fans are on that way. It might be a good place to check out as well. If you are unable to go, however, there are great places here that, look, our own Midtown Brewing Company would be a fantastic place to watch the game. And then, also Front 43 and Cask & Company, I think the TV setup there is just top notch. It is absolutely outstanding.
Ken Chu, number 1, no-win situation for Pickett in the Peach Bowl. No credit for doing well versus MSU's pass defense. Big questions if he doesn't. 2, MSU hasn't had 2 point guards who can both get to the rim like this in a long, long time. And 3, every easy, open, resealable package can kiss my ass.
Appreciate you, Ken.
He's right, though.
Yeah.
The resealable ones, I mean, how much of your life have you spent trying to get it snapped back on?
It's brutal. And it's worse when my wife is watching because then I'm fumbling with it, and it's I look.
She's mocking you.
Inept. Yeah, it's just a bad deal all around. To Ken's second point, MSU hasn't had 2 point guards that can both get to the rim like this in a while. You're right. It has been a while since. I'm trying to think the last time. Obviously Kalen Lucas was a guy who could do that, and but Corey Lucius, who was the backup, wasn't really a guy. Wasn't really a rim guy. So I'm trying to think off the top of my head, and I'm failing at it. But it's a good duo, especially in that ability.
Professor, number 1, the Heisman Trophy show was a horrible watch, almost as bad as the NFL Pro Bowl. 2, there are no better times to nap than during a Lions game, especially when it's the practice squad team. And 3, MSU hoops only playing 2 more times in December is ass.
I kind of enjoy the week off, but I get what you're saying. And Tom Izzo talked about the scheduling kind of got weird this year. They think they'd like to have one more game in December. Then they've got the game against Oakland and Detroit next Tuesday, and then a game against High Point and Tubby Smith. While Michigan State's football team's down in Atlanta, it just sort of is what it is. But it's a huge gap and good practice time for them and all that stuff. It does feel like more of a gap than usual.
Al, number 1, the Lakers' problem isn't Russ, but it's AD isn't living up to his potential. And 2, my friend Ross needs to stop just listening and start submitting his hot takes.
Yeah, come on, Ross.
Yeah, Ross, what's happening? 3, dating is a pain in the ass. I couldn't imagine dating in this pandemic.
So, Al, we would like to hear some of your dating stories. If you would DM us, those would be stories we're telling, presented by Midtown Brewing Company. Dating is. There are times, especially as fat and ugly as I am, that I'm like, God, I'm so glad I don't have to date anymore.
Yeah, but if all of a sudden you became single, you'd start working out harder.
Oh, I'd lose 50 pounds overnight.
Yeah, it's the breakup.
Yeah. Which doesn't say much, though, because I should value my wife and what she has to deal with on a daily basis enough that I'd lose the 50 pounds and put forth that effort.
You would think, yeah. But you don't. One day, Mr. Neurotic Pants. Number 1, anger is what makes America great. 2, 90% of women and 40% of men want the bobo. 3, Graham, if you eat lots of donuts and burgers, then you need to brush your teeth and gums frequently. Otherwise, the dentist will humiliate you.
Is this happening to you? The dentist loves me. I have great dental hygiene for whatever. Somehow.
Dr. J-Mo, he's my dentist, loves me.
Yeah, in fact, I went 4 years at one point without going to the dentist because I had moved and
I think he loves me because paid his mortgage for 3 months.
Why? What did he? Oh, when you had all the issues.
Oh yeah. But still, he's a great dude.
No, I went 4 years, and they said my teeth were in great shape, and I just got lucky. I don't know. I'm just happy. I didn't always have straight teeth, only semi-straight now, but at least they're healthy teeth, which I'll take.
And that's Graham Couch's tooth update.
Jesus, can we fix that one? Post
Skydent, or whatever.
Trident.
Sorry.
Skymint can help you get through the last part of this show sometimes.
Yeah. Hans Jurgen, number 1, Tyson Walker is the best defensive MSU point guard since Eric Snow. 2, Jaden Akins is the most athletic MSU shooting guard since Shannon Brown. 3, I will ignore MSU hockey until they are a Big Ten contender, and then we'll jump on the bandwagon like a motherfucker. And bonus hot take. Is there any way I can mute MSU fans commenting on Go Blow and Go Blow fans commenting on MSU?
You can mute certain words. You'd lose some stuff, but you could probably figure out what ones you wanted to get rid of. But yeah, it's difficult to do. I have muted certain people, and it's made my life significantly better. So to Hans' first questions here, Tyson Walker is the best defensive point guard since Eric Snow. Again, they've had a lot of guys since, and they've had guys who could get into you. Like even Tum Tum was a pretty good point guard, but Walker's better. He's better, more steals, more confident, quicker hands.
You're not playing 4-on-5 on offense?
Yeah, well, the other side of the ball, it's a big difference. Most athletic shooting guards in Shannon Brown, Jaden Akins. So, I guess, Maurice Agger is in that era, and I guess you're not calling him a shooting guard. I think it's how you look at certain guys positionally, but certainly Akins is in a pretty high class.
Jake Hawkins, the Hawk. Number 1, just when you think everything figured out about Big Ten basketball, really hits on it being a crazy season. Purdue loses immediately after being ranked number 1 for the first time. Michigan not looking good like last season. But, of course, all the craziness should go good for MSU. 2, great column on Marcus Bingham Saturday. Great to see him finally strides into finally becoming a dominant big man in the Big Ten. Looking forward to seeing how the rest of the season goes for him. And 3, I said Saturday that MSU fans, especially the Izzone, should do the chant, "We want Goodwin." Clap, clap, clap. We want Goodwin for 5-star offensive tackle Keonta Goodwin, who is on his last official recruiting visit to MSU, and they sure did. Fingers crossed that we can flip him.
It'd be interesting to see what happens there. I mean, it was one of my, this time of year especially, the football recruits and the coaching staff and watching that whole dynamic. Some of the best people watching you get at Breslin without question. And appreciate you, Jake, on the compliment on the column on Marcus Bingham. It's one of the challenges right now is we don't get quite the one-on-one locker room sort of conversations that we got in non-pandemic times, but they're better than Zoom, and you're still able to do it.
No, it's not.
Well, not for you, but it's still, you're still able to tell some decent stories and do some decent columns.
And finally, Upper Deck Jerk Guy. Number 1, Izzo is an absolute magician. By March, this team could be a true Final Four threat. 2, the Heisman is a lesser award, and voters should be ashamed of themselves for making it such. And 3, Iowa somehow beats Michigan, Ann Arbor, and we laugh.
I don't know what this Iowa one means because they didn't beat them, but
do they play hoops soon, or
I don't know. It's maybe they. Yeah, I don't know where he's going with this, but his other ones are good. The Heisman is a lesser award, and I am ashamed. But it's definitely a lesser award than it once was. I don't think of it all that important. I don't, frankly, watch the Heisman ceremony very often. I just don't give a shit. This year it was different because there was a Michigan State guy, but I don't think of it as being given to the best player, and I'm a voter, so.
Say that proudly.
But yeah, I'm just not that And Izzo's having he's having a good coaching job. This has worked out well because it speaks to development, right? Gabe Brown, Marcus Bingham Jr., guys they've stayed with and guys that it's paid off, and guys they've chosen. Picking Tyson Walker and getting on him early, this looks like it's going to work. We appreciate all of you and all of your hot takes. Thanks to Mark and Jay at North Coast Wealth Management. Again, call them 248-626-2000, 248-626-2000. Free consultation to see if they're a fit for you. Mention Couch in the Rube. And, I think you're going to like these guys. Also, thanks to Skymint. Go to skymint.com for location information and specials. Skymint just makes the holidays better. I'm telling you right now. Good show, man.
Yeah, man.
Couch in the Rube.